What's up, everybody? Welcome to New Angle Pickle. I did some rearranging on my computer, and yeah, I have to look up to talk to you now. So I did a live Let's stream earlier this week, and was trying to chop it all up, but shit went wrong. YouTube wouldn't let me download it, and all this other kind of crap. So I was like, you know what? For those of you that actually wanted to check it out at another time or whatever, it's like, okay, well, let's go ahead and do the same topic and just, a much more condensed version, and we'll just kind of set it forward from there. So this is going to be more about comics you may not know about or may not have heard about. Everyone knows about the stuff from Marvel and DC and the X-Men and Justice League and Batman and Superman and Wolverine and the X-Men and all that other kind of shit. And it's just like, let's go past that for a little bit. One of the top comics I want to talk about is Saga. If you've never heard of it, a real good friend of mine said it's, quote, Star Wars for perverts. And I thought that was kind of a pretty apt statement. And I have to say that she's right for the most part, but it's also got a lot of sort of like Romeo and Juliet, where you have two warring houses and such. You have what they call the wings and the horns with Alana and Marco's species, and they're supposed to be poisonous to each other and all this other kind of stuff. And Brian K. Vaughan does an amazing job with the story, and Fiona Staples has pretty much just made this comic her bitch. And it's incredible, the amount of different types of species that you have. This robot species, if they're ever thinking something, it shows up on screen in as succinct a topic as you can kind of get down to. So if it's thinking about war, it'll show an explosion. If they're lusting after a particular person, what they're thinking shows up on that screen. And it's really, really interesting. One of my favorite characters is Lying Cat. It's a cat that just can tell if you're lying. Where Pinocchio's nose grows, Lying Cat just goes, lying. And it adds such an awesome element to it that I'm just like, that is really kind of cool. Just imagine having that cat with you. It's like, oh yeah, honey, I just came straight home from work. Lying. Like, okay, I'm kind of caught in this now. What the hell do I do? Yeah, the character diversity that's in here and the amount of stuff that they go through, and the artwork alone is just damn beautiful. And a huge thing for me in a comic book series is not only does it have to be good writing, but it has to be good art as well. I'm a huge Punisher fan, but I hated the way Steve Dillon drew him. Steve Dillon did a great job with Garth Ennis when they teamed up and did Preacher, but it's almost like all the grittiness and everything went out the damn window, and I just found it to just almost be an insult to Frank Castle. So, I will have to highly recommend Saga. The first two bits of dialogue that are even spoken is the main character, well, one of the main characters, Alana, going, "Am I shitting?" And the very next thing she says is, "It feels like I'm shitting." And it's her talking about giving birth to their daughter, and we get backstory on how they all got mixed up and everything, and it's pretty awesome. And another great one that Brian K. Vaughan did is Y the Last Man. This is unbelievable. This was such an awesome premise to start everything on, and then just really go about how society really kind of thrashes each other, and how they just how everyone has such tunnel vision when it comes to something that they lose sight of an overall picture, because Yorick and his monkey ampersand are the only two males left alive on the planet. That's it. There are no other males. And the stuff that goes on in this comic is just crazy, dealing with, brainwashing, sex, and SECTS, not SEX. And just the sheer amount of shit that goes on in this book and what they go through, and how all he wants to do is help out in situations, but those that are going, whoa, these are the last males alive. If we're going to propagate any kind of, species in the future, we have to protect these guys. And maybe we can, withdraw something from them or whatever. It's been a long time since I read it, but I don't think they went into anything specific saying, hey, this is exactly what happened. But they eventually did start to kind of let him help a little bit. And I don't want to give too much away, but if you can get a hold of this series, holy shit, do yourself a favor and read it, because it is amazing. Flat out amazing. I have to throw my hat out for Invincible. I did get a little bummed to find out recently that the next 12 issues of Invincible are going to be the last ones that they make. And then it's done. But this starts with a boy who is kind of living in the shadow of his father. There we go. Well, kinda. Well, anyways, in the shadow of his dad, Omni-Man. Yeah, that dude. Because Omni-Man was the guardian of Earth. And he was like, well, where the hell are my powers? And it's sort of like building up Superman if he didn't have his powers when he was a toddler, that he got them when he was a teenager, and then goes from there. And another little quirky thing about this comic that I absolutely love, and Robert Kirkman is the guy who writes Invincible, same guy that does The Walking Dead. And anyway, one thing I enjoy is the little quirky names. So there's a girl on their little teen team, or whatever you want to call them, who can make copies of herself, and her name is Duplicate. And another guy kind of has powers like Gambit, where he can touch something and make it explode. His name is Rexplode. And another girl on their team can mess with shit at the atomic level, and her name is Atom Eve. Atom Eve. And there's a bunch of little quirky things in there, and I always found it corny, but to be kind of endearing at the same time, to where it has fun but still takes you on a serious ride. And I have to say that where the comic is going to end is almost nowhere near where it started, but holy shit is it fantastic. Another high recommend on my list. Also during the stream, I was asked about good Wolverine stories. I can't offer up anything better than Old Man Logan. Wolverine has kind of gone into hiding. He's a pacifist now. And a blind Hawkeye comes to try and talk to him, go, yo, we need some help. Shit went south, and we gotta take care of some stuff. and just that whole ball rolling, especially of Wolverine being a pacifist, knowing what we know about Wolverine is insane. There's a couple of Marvel events that I would suggest. Siege is one of them. If you can actually read Civil War, it is so much better in the comic because they had more time. And I mean, also keep in mind that comic events will usually go on for months at a time because they'll release one issue and they may have a fraction of a story in a Wolverine comic and then pick up a little bit more in X-Force and then maybe bleed over into Spider-Man and Iron Man and maybe into Thor and Hulk. And that goes on for about 6 months. So you're going to have an expansive story that's getting different input from other characters. And it's an amazing, amazing story. Without going on for too damn long, because I did a little bit more than an hour stream on this. If you have any comics that you want to offer up and suggest, chuck them in the comments. If you get any kind of suggestions that you kind of want to read some of these and whatever, put a thumbs up on there. But until I see another episode of Pickle, and I'm out of here. Enjoy your